Now, Londoners who were near the Toynbee studios in Aldgate were in for a surprise on Friday and Saturday. A woman climbed on top of a roof there and sat completely naked for 4 hours. Well, images of the stunt have now gone viral. It was all part of a performance by artist Poppy Jackson, who joins me now. Now, Poppy, lots of people have seen the images now, but perhaps without knowing the significance. Can you explain more? Why the roof and why nude?
It was about the female body claiming space in the city and a celebration of the female body, but on its own terms rather than, I think people have been maybe confused with a lot of the headlines, because the female body that we usually see in these platforms, like in the media, is a kind of more sexualized female body of often advertising, trying to sell something. It's kind of a commodification of female sexuality. So I was trying to present a body that was very clearly kind of acting for itself, celebrating the female body, but at the same time critiquing those things.
I'm interested in the practicalities of it, because it didn't look that comfortable. How difficult was it getting up there, but also staying for so long?
Well, I'm actually a bit scared of heights as well. So I'd gone rock climbing in the lead up to the performance, and I've had amazing mentorship from an incredible artist called Heather Castles, who works a lot with the body, and yeah, they had recommended the rock climbing. So that kind of accustomed me to heights, and also in the video of the performance you can see me kind of climbing up and down, so that helped with that. The thing I was most worried about was the cold, so yeah, I used a lot of techniques like rhythmic breathing and things to really kind of be able to deal with the cold and be able to be there for as long as possible. But I also, I don't want to present a piece that's about suffering and shivering and getting hypothermia. I wanted to present like the power of the body, so I researched a lot about kind of how to deal with that in a way that was as comfortable as possible. But I think because I work with the body, like feeling the cold on my skin, it makes you feel very present in yourself. So that really helped me to focus and experience the work in a really intense way.
You managed a lot better than I would. I don't think I could even take a cardigan off on a roof, let alone all of my clothes. Now, there was quite a crowd of people there watching you. Did that help at all, or did that put you off? Did the reaction kind of spur you on?
I think because of the cold as well, I was like really, really focused. I think until you're actually in the performance, you don't know the techniques that you'll find to be able to deal with the situation you're in. So I found a point on the building opposite and really like focused in on that point, and that really helped me to kind of be present and deal with the cold and the experience of being there as well, and just be, yeah, I guess like try and have like a dignified and powerful presence there as much as possible, with all the stairs and like the people taking photos and things. And it was really amazing actually to be in such a bustling place. Like I could just hear all the traffic in the street and the people going by, but to be very, very still and just absorb all of that was quite an amazing experience.
And the views must have been amazing.
Yeah, incredible. Like the Gherkin was just across the way, and yeah, all sorts of things. And Toynbee's an amazing place.
And what have you made of the general reaction? Because it's been quite mixed.
Yeah. I think, yeah, I never expected it would go kind of globally across the world on so many platforms. It's on like status quo blogs and like army blogs and like, in news outlets across the world. And yeah, I never really expected that at all. So I think it's kind of extended the work, but it's almost become another piece, because it was there to be experienced live, and always with performance, like the documentation. It's the thing we talk a lot about in performance art, is like when you're there for the performance, you get such a different take on it than if you just see the videos or the photo. It's extremely different. It's like a totally different piece. So to have documentation that I wasn't in control of at all, like being spiraled out like that. I mean, it's, yeah, totally taken on a life of its own, but I think that a piece about occupying physical space as a female body, then becoming a piece about occupying virtual space as a female body, and the celebration of that body is it's a really good thing. And I think the sexist comments and the misogyny that's come out, like in like thousands and thousands of comments about my body, and like all the shame they're trying to pile on me, is actually just, it's revealing what the piece was meant to be exploring. So yeah, it's doing its work, I think, in those platforms too.
And we should say that this is one of a number of new pieces that you've done. Are you already plotting sort of your next performance piece?
Yeah, I think like I get a lot of ideas, and hopefully, yeah, it's just kind of having the time and the resources to do those ideas. I mean, a lot of artists struggle with like finances and time and like the platforms to be able to do those ideas. So yeah, I've got loads of ideas that I want to carry forwards, and hopefully the next one's going to be in London like fairly soon. So yeah.
And I guess it encourages those conversations about what is art, which I'm sure you encourage.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that was a lot of a lot of comments were talking about that, like, oh, this isn't art and things like that, and she's just showing off and things like that. But I mean, yeah, I think the context of the piece became very different when it's seen online rather than actually at the Spill Festival of Performance where I performed it. But obviously it was in a public context, so you know, that's fine. Like, anything can happen in a public context, and you have to realise that if you're performing live, so that's fine. But yeah, I think it will kind of take on a new life from now, and we'll see. But yeah, the comments about art, I think if you look back in history, like even Monet's paintings, which now they're printed on like many people's kind of sitting room walls, and Van Gogh kind of tea towels and things like that. All these things at their time were so radical, and lots of people were saying they weren't art. So if you look back in history, that it's always art's job is to kind of do that and make people question and make people discuss things. So yeah, I think that was inevitable too, really.
Well, it's absolutely fascinating. Poppy Jackson, you're a braver woman than me. Thank you very much for coming in.
Thank you, Alison.